Hey guys, happy Sunday. Hey, we are waiting for the final numbers on Minecraft. What a mind-blowing weekend, huh? But while we're waiting on that, I wanted to do a quick update for those of you who have been asking me, what is going on with the lenders versus AMC lawsuit? Because there was a key date of March 28th, and some of you guys are keeping track of this, and I commend you for that. So let me provide you with the updates. And here's what we're going to talk about in this video. 4 things. Is AMC in default on its loans? Was there a default letter issued? Number 2, what has happened since we last talked about this case in February? Number 3, who dropped out of the case and why? And number 4, why was the case postponed? Let's get you caught up. This is only going to take a couple minutes. Okay, for those of you who haven't watched any of these videos and know nothing about this case, the 1-second summary is that when AMC refinanced their debt in July of 2024, some of the previous first lien holders got upset because they lost access to collateral. Some of the junior creditors got vaulted up in the hierarchy of who gets paid out if the company were to ever default. And so these first lien creditors, 16 or 17 of them that you see on the screen here, are suing AMC, and the court case is going through the court case process, and we're waiting to hear a final answer. I don't know what's going to happen in this case. I'm not an attorney, but I do talk to people smarter than me, and I try and provide you guys an unemotional take on what is the likely outcome. So let's get right into those 4 bullet points that I talked about in the beginning of this video. First, I just want to touch on this bullet point of, is AMC in default? Because I've seen some of you being subjected and harassed by the trolls with this letter, which was a discovery item or an exhibit that was submitted to the court in this case. And this is indeed a letter from Delaware Trust to AMC, letting them know that they are issuing a notice of default. Does that mean that AMC is in default? Well, I'm just going to give you guys a couple of evidentiary things to think about. Number 1, the bond market, the bond prices for AMC's bonds are holding up just fine. The bond market does not think AMC is in default, or those bond prices would have collapsed. Number 2, this letter is what? It's an allegation from the trustee that AMC is in default of some of the covenants agreed to in the intra-creditor agreement. However, it is not evidence that the company is in default because the case is under judicial review. So it's an allegation that has yet to be determined if it is factual or not. That is the whole point of the court process. So for the people trolling saying the company is in default, I don't think that that quite holds up. Although a letter alleging that the plaintiffs believe the company is in default, that certainly exists, yes. Until we have the outcome of this case, we're not going to know if AMC is in default or not. That is what the court will decide, or the parties involved in this case, if they settle it out. And after talking to people way smarter than me, I'm actually softening up one of my views on the outcome of this case, because the general feeling is even if AMC loses this case, none of the lenders want to put AMC into bankruptcy. And even if AMC were to be found to be in default, the outcome is not likely to be forcing a Chapter 11. It's going to be, all right, you lost AMC. Now you need to come up with some settlement or some way to ameliorate, make better what you did to us. And so there'll be some sort of settlement or financial disposition. The least likely outcome would be that AMC ends up in Chapter 11. Is it a potential outcome? Yeah, anything's potential, but it is not a high probability outcome. Okay, so what has happened since February 2025, the last time that we talked about this case? Remember that back in November 2024, AMC filed a motion to dismiss, as would be standard procedure in any case like this. And then in February, the plaintiffs filed their motion opposing the motion to dismiss. And then the next round that always happens in this sort of thing is AMC gets to come back and say one more time why they support the motion to dismiss. And that is the main thing that's happened since February up till now, is AMC and Glass, which is the trustee company that's in charge of these junior creditor agreements. Both of them filed their final letters supporting the motion to dismiss. Basically, all just procedural stuff and no real new information shared. Speaking of Glass, the trust company, some of y'all got some really crazy takes. I see people out on social media saying AMC's trying to hand this company over to a private equity company named Glass. Glass is a trust company, and if you don't understand what that is or the function of a trust company in a loan agreement, please go do a little bit more due diligence. I'm not going to waste my time entertaining this kind of nonsense. A trust company is a private entity that's going to be handed AMC in the event of a bankruptcy. If some of you people out there actually believe stuff like that, again, you're going to continue to make bad trading decisions or bad probability assignments of outcomes because you can't even get the basic concepts correct. So please do a little more work and get to understand who all of these parties are and what their piece is in the puzzle. The other thing that occurred since February with this filing we have on March 6th is that one of the plaintiffs, LMR Multi-Strategy Master Fund, dropped out of the case. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but it would not surprise me to see any number of these plaintiffs settle with AMC or come up with some agreement before this case gets all the way through the court process. We don't have any details in this letter saying why they left the case, but they had a voluntary discontinuance without prejudice and without cost to any party. So one of the plaintiffs has dropped from the case, and for the moment here anyways, in April 2025, the remaining plaintiffs still remain. The other bit of news, and maybe the biggest bit of news, is that this case has now been postponed. Whereas originally the oral arguments were scheduled to be heard, I think on April 7th or 8th. Now we have a motion approved by the judge on March 25th. You can see I have highlighted here stipulation regarding adjournment of oral arguments. And the case has been postponed now until the end of June. And in this letter, the plaintiffs are saying that the lead counsel for plaintiffs who will be arguing the motion have a previously scheduled professional engagement at a conference out of town on April 7th and 8th. Both the plaintiffs and the defendants met and conferred on what schedule works for everybody. And the judge has approved this, rescheduling to June 26, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. The final little bit of tinfoil I'll leave you with on this is you guys know that I'm expecting that the AMC shareholder meeting will be in early June. And it is strange, maybe to some, that this case now got rescheduled to the end of June. Do you think that that is coincidence? Or do you think that everything is a big scheme and a plan? I know this will drive people nuts trying to debate that point. I don't know. It's just fun to think about that stuff sometimes. Anyways, we are caught up now on the lenders versus AMC lawsuit, and we really won't have much to talk about on this particular case until the end of June. Keep in mind there is that other case going on, the AMC versus the insurance companies. There is one defendant insurance company still involved in that. One settlement of about $5 million waiting to be resolved. And if you missed the update on that case, I will put a link to it up above and in the video description. Don't get these two cases confused. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see you on the next video.